What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome to my first proper F125 video on the channel, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the controller settings that I am using on this year's game. The game came out yesterday. I made a Spain world record video on the Xbox side on time trial, but I won't read into that one too much because it's only been not even 24 hours since the game came out, so that record is basically meaningless, especially when it's going to get absolutely battered within the next 2 or 3 days at the very minimum. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about the controller settings. I made a video like this last year, it did really well, and I'm hoping that it will have the same impact for you guys on this year's game as well. So if you find this one useful, make sure you hit the like button, get subscribed for more F125 content on its way, and if you actually like the mug that you're seeing on screen, let me know what you think, because I am trying a webcam. I've been asked this a few times across the last couple of months, and I'm going to give it a go on this year's game. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video and see what settings that we are working with. So here we are on the F125 game. We've just booted it up now, and we're just going to go into time trial quickly, just see what we're working with here. So I'm just going to pick McLaren, just why not? We're not actually going to do some laps in this, to mainly just show you guys what settings I'm working with and what the best way is to go about it on F125. So we're loading into Spain, like I mentioned. The world record, the meaningful record, was there, and I'm just going to quickly divert to it. There you go. I've lost it. I had 200s, for God's sake. Anyway, so there you go. That's that in the pod. So didn't last long, but we're going to go actually into the settings here. So this is where the magic is. So we'll worry about the camera settings in another video. I'm still working on those, but you want to go down into controls, vibration and feedback, vibration and force feedback. So I've already made a preset on this game already, so we're going to go into the calibration. And the steering rate for this year, I was originally running at 160 because those were the settings I had last year, and it seemed to work pretty well on F124, where especially we're dealing with the rear, with the front end. But as you can see here, if I just take over here, and we're just going to let the car roll, and I'll just show you what the main issue is with 160% steering wheel. So coming out of turn number 12 to 13 and then into turn 14, I'm just going to show you an example here going into the first corner. So DRS open as we barrel our way down towards turn number 1, which is what the 50-meter forward on the braking point. And as you can see there, that is a lot of rotation there. So you can see there, it seems pretty sensitive. I saw this on my stream yesterday when I was first trying the game, and that looks very sensitive. So obviously it's a steering rating, so the steering rate there is a little bit too high for this game. So I got recommended by Tech Brutal yesterday on my stream, as he's a fellow control player, as the recommended way to go about the steering rate this year is scrolling it down to 140. So it reduces the steering rate, and it actually might be the best way to go about it. It doesn't make it look so sensitive, so the sense of turning is a lot more. It's a lot better there. So that's probably the best steering rate to go about. And regarding the other settings as well, I don't have a next camera button. I don't have a look forward button. I've changed the look back button to just pressing the R button here, simply because that just allows me to look back really easy on track. I don't really use look left or look right. That seems pretty useless to me. So we're just going to continue down here. And the MFD, because some of these buttons were unassigned, it allows me just to switch over to the MFD. So menu up, down, that allows me to just scroll up and down through the MFD. Say I'm asking an engineer something, that's basically what I'll use it for. Push to talk I don't really use anyway. Overtake, LB, and we will continue scrolling down. So as you can see, a lot of buttons are unassigned because we have a few MFD shortcuts that I added on last year's game I didn't mention in F124. So the main shortcuts I use on this game for use since F124 is brake bias increase, you want to just use this button here, which is brake bias increase, just to right on the D-pad there. It just allows me to access it during qualifying with a race. If I need to turn down the brake bias or turn it up, I can just usually press a button on the D-pad and I'll get the desired outcome that I'm wanting to. Same thing with the ERS. Again, this is something that I didn't really quite use at the start of the game, but again, it just saves that toggling through the modes. Instead, you can just press the up button on the D-pad here to increase the battery, and then the opposite, press down on the D-pad to decrease the battery. So if I want to quickly go from hot lap to medium or medium to none through a corner, I can just press the button, and again, this just helps me channel through the ERS modes in league races, so it just makes things that much easier. So we're going to save that, and there's no keyboard preset, by the way, so just don't bother about that. So vibration and force feedback. Now this is something that I haven't really gone into too much, but I was basically running off the references of last year. So vibration and force feedback is on. I've got my controller to vibrate now, so I can actually get a sense of feeling through the corners compared to F123, where I just didn't have it on at all. So vibration and force feedback showing for me all the way at the top. That works for me. It was working for me last year. It's worked for the last few games. On track effects, I might actually turn this one up again. I had it on 0, but actually on track effects will probably be the best way to go about it. On 100 again, it's just from track surfaces, so again you'll have that better feeling when you're going through corners and stuff like that, so that'll probably be useful. Off track at 100, I mean, it might be a little bit annoying when you're going off into the gravel and your controller's vibrating a lot, but that's probably just the best way to go about it. And then the maximum wheel rotation, I had this since the end of F123 and last year on F124 as well. The maximum wheel rotation here, 180 degrees, best way to get that feeling of turning, because if you turn it up to, let's say 300, for example. So we'll just save that just for now as an example. So if we go down to 300, pick up the throttle, and then as we go for the turning, you can see there, it takes a lot longer for the steering wheel to actually complete your input of turning. So again, through turn 7, it just feels a little bit delayed on the input, which is not what you want on a controller, because obviously our inputs are not going to be as precise as a wheel plane, so you don't want to have laggy inputs through corners, especially around Spain, where most corners pretty much matter, especially around Austria as well. There's only 10 corners and you need to know every single one of them. So we'll turn that right down to 180, and that is pretty much the recommended way to go about the settings on this year's game. Of course, these might be altered down the line when league racing starts or halfway through the game cycle, but that's probably the best way to go about the controller settings on this year's game. So that pretty much covers it, and I might do a camera settings video later on, because I'm still working on these. So the settings you're seeing here with the McLaren TV button there might be changed for the video that's coming soon. So into the box we go, and there you go. I think that'll pretty much cover. I'll just show you a few laps around a track. Really, I haven't really tried Zandvoort yet, so it'll be the first test for me. And of course, Zack Styler has the world record. But yeah, let's get into a few laps, and then I'll show you how we work with it. So first of all, sneaking upon me already, but right, so here we go, first lap around Zandvoort, just to showcase off the settings really, as we take a bit of grass the way out of the back section, into turn when we go. Not the best turning there, but yeah, not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. but you can see how the turning actually is pretty solid there. It's not my finest driving. You can see that just through that bank corner, that was quite smooth, didn't it? So that's the important thing. You want to make sure you put it as smooth as possible. Just get more time for the corners. So let's try turn one again. A bit closer to the apex this time. You can see I'm not really going for the fastest lap right now. I've got a bit the bank and in there, but you can see through the inputs and through the settings, those inputs looked quite smooth. The first few corners, obviously they weren't the fastest corners, but the main thing is having your inputs being absolutely spot on, and so that just gives you a better understanding of what the car's going to be doing through the corners and how much turn you can put in, and the force feedback will be telling you on your control, the vibration will be telling you if you're under the numbers. So there you go. I think that might just be a good way to sign this off. So there you go, guys. Those are my controller settings for this year's game on F1 25. Make sure you guys try this out for yourselves and use this as a baseline. So if you need to make any changes to the rotation or the steering rate, make sure you make those changes to make sure that you feel as comfortable as you can on this brand new game. But if you have any other questions to me, make sure you send them my way in the comments down below. But if you enjoyed this one and found it useful, be sure to hit the like button, get subscribed for more F1 25 content on your way in the coming days. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one.